the NWF Champion Ace.
Pitts has called the match. For some strange reason, he's giving the victory to Kid Kelsey.
Mr. X declared the new champion.
The new champion, Mr. X.
He's won the title match. Get him back, bring him down. Don't you cross your new champion.
Hello NWF fans, and welcome back to another episode of NWF Fast Forward, live on the NWF channel and also live on Wrestling Revolution with Keaton's channel. Now, I am your host, the main host, the only host that matters, the host with the most, who loves to boast. I am still the longest reigning NIPW Junior Heavyweight Champion in history. I am one half of the greatest tag team in Northern Irish wrestling history, alongside my great friend John McCann. And I will be the NWF World Champion come the end of June. Now, on to my co-host. He is the biggest schmuck in American wrestling history. He is the ultimate disrespecter of the NWF World title, as he ruined it 5 times. And he is our favourite pensioner. It is Schmucker Crossen.
And
we've lost him again.
In that Commonwealth Championship match that just took place, because you didn't get the job done. Just like you may not get the job done on June 1st.
How about you
if
get
this
your
streak
job done
continues?
And fix your connection here, Paul, because you keep freezing and freezing again, so you might want to
I can't help it. It's probably the internet. I just can't help it. It's one of those. It's like the snowstorm you had.
But the thing is, I may have lost that match, but you go to anyone. I had the best damn match on the show. I stole the show. I took Paulo Triaso to his limits, and I impressed a lot of the right people, the people that matter. So I can assure you that match is just another great match in the books of the Canary Kid.
Let's try this. Let me know if this is any better.
All right, here we go.
I switched it to a 720p, so it's not as big of a bandwidth. So let me know if it still freezes.
We'll see.
If it freezes, just say it's freezing.
I'll just
But yeah, you didn't win it, and you lost, and as I predicted, and that's probably that. If this streak continues, you're going to lose it again come the big match in June. So I don't know if you're going to be able to win.
Speaking of the big match in June, for those who don't know, myself and Ben Nelson have agreed to a bit of gentlemanly warfare. We are planning on entering, and we have agreed to enter, a best of 3 series in the build-up to our title match for the NWF Championship in June. Myself and Ben in this best of 3 series, our first match, next week, NW no, I almost said NWF NIPW breakout. The first ever breakout will be the first match. The second match will be May 4th, I think. I'm terrible with dates.
Yeah, May 4th.
Yep.
Malone.
NIPW Belfast Brawl in Malone. And then, of course, we'll come to the ultimate climax, June 1st.
When yours truly makes the appearance in NIPW with that championship belt, and I will be refereeing this thing. And like I said, Canary, you better just be playing by the rules. If I see anything that I don't like, because I'm the ref, and you don't mess with the ref, just so you know.
Well, Crush, the Canary Kid, and his people here on NWF Fast Forward see something they don't like, and that's you running your mouth again. All right? I'll tell you what. A good referee is meant to sit there nice and quiet in his little zebra stripes and do his job. But so far, you just have to keep on chatting, don't you? You just have to blah, 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 blah. No, cut it. All right? This is about me.
No,
the NWF title match is about me and the history of that great championship. The history that you tried to destroy with 5 god-awful reigns. Thank God for people like Mr. X holding that championship, because without him,
Mr. X.
it would
Mr.
have
X.
been so much worse.
Mr. X had the belt for 3 weeks.
And they were the best.
Here's the thing. Here's the thing. I was defending that title before you were even a thought. So just remember that, buddy boy. Now, before you keep quacking away here, we've got a guest to get to here from Full Tilt Wrestling, Jack Garcia. But before I bring Jack in, I just want to bring a couple comments in that came in first. Brett Scope says, Garcia. He's excited. He wants to see this interview. So, yeah, we're going to get to that. And then look who happens to pop in here, none other than Dixie Dave himself. Hello from the brain of the NWF Podcast Network. No offense meant, Ricky, but without me, you wouldn't have this gig. Sorry you have to deal with the 5-time champ. So,
you misread out there. I think it might be old age. It says the 5-time loser. Because
I didn't see loser. I see champ.
Crusher lost the NWF title. Not once, not twice, not 3 times. 5 times he lost that championship. That is awful. I put
people over 5 times.
And also...
And another thing too. Another thing you mentioned here, Canary, you're in your big mouth. You said that you're half of the greatest tag team. I'm wondering. Because John was pretty ticked off at you in that last tag match. I'm just wondering if if the love affair is still there. I think maybe there might be some waves on the horizon there with that great, wonderful tag team that you boast so much about.
Look, you dirt sheet fanboys don't have any idea what's going on behind the scenes. All right, so you just keep your mouth shut when it comes to me and John. I'm back to Dave here. No offense was taken. I completely understand. You are the founding father of this amazing podcast, because without you, I don't know where we'd be. The only offense that was taken was me as a person of the United Kingdom education system.
I will say this.
Really hurt my eyes to read you misspell the word meant.
And by the way, Canary, am I freezing? I just want to know.
Yeah, you're freezing a lot, guys. Isn't he freezing?
No, seriously, is it like doing that again?
Yeah,
so it's been good since I changed it. Good.
So
See,
far.
I know how to fix things. Now, as I was going to say too, Dave is the reason these podcasts happen, because Dave was the one who suggested we do Rewind, which then led to Forward. But Forward was my idea, Dave. So just so you know. Dixie Dave, and then who was it? Who was that little Tweety bird that came to me and said, "Crusher, please, can I be your co-host? Please let me come on and be your co-host." Wasn't that you?
I'm pretty sure, if I recall, and these people saw when I first joined, I was given a letter by NWF management. Likely Dixie Dave. I wasn't given any names, but NWF management gave me that letter, told me you weren't doing your job right, and I saved your ass's job. So you should be quite grateful for that.
All right, let's get a couple more comments, and what I'm going to do is I have a promo to show of Jack Garcia, so everybody can get an idea.
Exciting.
Little promo he put together for me. So we're going to watch that promo, and when we come out of the promo, we're going to be with Jack.
Voila.
But another couple comments though, Ace, not to be confused with Ace, one of the NWF champs. This is a different Ace. Said Jack Garcia is so hot, got a good foundation to him. All right.
Very passionate.
Yeah, very passionate. And then Scott Plitt Does Jack Garcia tape study? That's a question. So we'll get to that question, Scott, when we bring him in. But first, let's watch this quick promo. And when we come out of the promo, we'll have our guest in here, Jack Garcia. So let's take a look at this. You guys ready? Here we go. All right, and here we are, Jack Garcia, Full Tilt Wrestling. If everybody remembers, we had Mitch the Kid on a while back. This is the same organization that Mitch is from.
Yep.
And, Jack reached out and said, hey, I'd like to come on. I think we can do that. That's what Forward's all about, you guys. It's for you guys. It's for you guys getting started in the business. And, Jack, I believe you're somewhat new yet, right, into the wrestling?
Yeah, so this will be the third year of actually consistently wrestling shows coming in
Right.
now.
Yep. Same as the Canary. So you guys are about the same, 3 years. I think, and Mitch been doing a little bit longer with the juniors and stuff, but
He has, yeah.
yeah. But yeah, so, it's, now are you, I don't know, are you a heel or a baby face or both?
At the minute, it's more heel. I just find it a lot more natural.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just must have one of those personalities people just seem to not like very much, but I just play it to strength. If they don't like me and they want to boo me, that's absolutely fine, but yeah.
So what would you start out as a face and then you realize you're just getting booed, so you're just going to go with the heel?
Well, the first two shows that I did, we sort of tried it as face. And then the second show I wrestled Mitch for the Junior Heavyweight Championship, and obviously Mitch is such a red hot face in our company.
Yeah.
The natural switch was I was going to be the heel. And then obviously when I beat him for the title, the crowd turned and we just kind of rolled with that.
So you beat him for the title? Was that in that big scramble or whatever?
Yeah, so it was a 6-man elimination, but we staggered it, so 2 people started, and then I think about every 2 minutes there was another person entered, and it went down to Mitch. When Mitch got eliminated fairly early on, so I was the one that eliminated Mitch, and it kind of naturally the crowd just turned into
Oh, so that's a real sour spot for Mitch then, huh?
Yeah,
You eliminated him.
it was, yeah. I've in the chat actually, so he's
well. We have lots of comments, and Mitch is in there talking too. Let me get back to this first one though. Scott Plitt said, "Does Jack Garcia tape study? Does he study tape then, like most people?"
I definitely study a lot of tapes at the minute. It's more I watch AEW mostly for the likes of Jon Moxley, Kenny Omega, Eddie Kingston, WWE as well, with the likes of going back quite a bit for myself is more like Stone Cold and sort of like the
Attitude Era.
Yeah, the Attitude Era as well. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Now Fahrenheit. I'm just going to get through these questions, Ricky, and then I'm sure you got some too.
Go for it.
I noticed how there was no videos of him attacking me in that compilation. This must be one of your guys.
It is, yeah. Fahrenheit. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe it just wasn't worth showing him. Or maybe that's just what it is. He's not big time enough.
And then JJ Hall says, ask the dork what happened in his only title defense. I guess we can ask that. What happened in that only title defense?
I will say we will be. It is one of the videos I did send over.
So we'll be seeing this? Well, then let's not spoil the beans. We'll watch that when we get to it.
We'll get to it, yeah.
So we'll come back to that. Ace says, where's Kevin?
Yeah, Kevin. You might want to ask JJ Hall where Kevin is, because that wasn't me. That was JJ Hall, that one. So
And then here's the star of the show, Mitch the Kid. And I shouldn't say that. You're the star of the show, Jack. Mitch
Very
was our
true,
star a while back. But it's, Canary Kid's always, where's Mitch? Where's Mitch? I want Mitch back. I want Mitch back. He wants Mitch on the show again. But one of these days we'll get Mitch
Sounds
back
individual.
again. I'm sure Mitch would love to come on. It's just got to make it work with his schedule. Yeah. But he says, I kicked his ass, referring to Jack Garcia.
I'm not sure that's entirely true. I mean, a 6-man elimination, and he didn't even make it in the final 2. I don't think he kicked anyone's ass. I think I dumped him on his head and he went out.
And then I had him in that first half, so he said he had the advantage in the beginning.
Debatable.
And then everybody just keeps chatting. So, Canary, what do you got? I know you got some questions probably right out of the gate.
Well, from what I've seen, it seems like the full tilt guys have came in full swing for you, Jack.
Yeah.
A lot of support. Would you say that's been very helpful for you in your first 3 years in wrestling, the support your network you have around you, full tilt?
Oh, yeah, definitely. I think, business aside, I think all the guys have really got each other's backs. If there's one thing that's one of we're doing well at and somebody's struggling with, there's always, we can always go to each other and ask for help. Mitch as well, I mean, for the age he is and having the level of experience he's got, having somebody like that to speak to, especially, I think one thing he's absolutely fantastic at is being so comfortable in front of crowds, and stuff like that is really great to sort of pick his brains on. What kind of things do you do? Have you noticed things that don't work? I think as well, Fahrenheit, I'll shout him out. He's quite good at it. He just seems very natural in front of people. There's no nerves with him, or if there is, he's very good at hiding them. Definitely think we have got quite a good system there. We do look after each other, and we're quite supportive as well.
Well, with that's something that I really envy from both of you, because I know it's like that at NIPW as well. And and honestly, it's like that in the indie business today. It wasn't, though, in the earlier days from when I was around with it. If you go back 30 or 40 years ago, there wasn't that sense of one for all attitude. I mean, everybody was in it for themselves, and they're trying to just, because they thought they could springboard themselves into the big time. So they always just looked out for themselves. So you just didn't have that sense of you're really working together, like truly working together. You worked, but you worked to make yourself look good, and there was just too much of that. Where today, I think a lot of that is not the case. It's not like that anymore. It's evolved to a much more professional way of doing things, which is good. It's good for you guys.
Yeah, it definitely is. Yeah.
So you said 3 years. Did you? Now you didn't start out in the juniors, though, did you? You went right into the adults, right?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. I'd done a brief stint with the company in about 2014 when I was about 17. And then moved. I couldn't really continue with the wrestling, just with personal stuff. And then I came back, more or less went straight into the adult divisions. I think in terms of going from training to shows, it was about 6 to 7 months. I still remembered quite a lot from when I was originally there. Things like, it wasn't essentially starting from beginning. It was more sort of polishing up on what you'd kind of maybe not doing as well now that you haven't been doing it as regular. So we went straight into that, and I had a great first person to wrestle with, Ryan Ace, and then second one was Mitch straight away as well. So I was quite lucky to go in there with experienced people who could cover for me, being quite inexperienced, and sort of help me push on a little bit more. And I think that two people that definitely would have helped me get to where I am now with wrestling them early on. So it was quite a quick progression, I would say.
Who was your trainers that you worked with in the adults? Who was I know Big Chris is the head trainer, but who else is involved?
There's Adam Christ, who's if I'm correct, I think he's got something like 20 years experience throughout the UK independents. What's great about Adam is there's nothing he can't do. There's no styles that he doesn't really know how to do. but he's very sort of set in his ways. Like, he's brilliant at tech. Can do high fly, and he can moonsault if you need him to. So he's very, can do everything. He's a really good trainer. Mitch does train a little bit with the adults as well.
I know he trains with the juniors, so he's training with the adults as well.
Yes, yeah. So he does double most of the time. He'll train the juniors in the morning and then train with the adults later on.
Okay.
There's another couple of people as well who are they're just sort of the wrestlers on the roster, but they're very experienced and good at certain things. A guy who wrestles under the name of Jim Wilson. He one of the best technical wrestlers I've ever seen. He very much studies all the old style British wrestling. There's about 50 different ways out of every hold for him. So he's good to train with. And then the current world champion as well, Thomas Blood. Very good trainer as well.
And I'm just curious, back in the day, I just thought of this. I've never asked this question because back in the day, what they used to do with a lot of times when you started training is before you'd have a match, they'd have you start doing a little bit of refereeing first, just to get your feet wet in there in a match, seeing how a match goes and everything. They do that still do that these days, or is that kind of you don't really do any refereeing at all?
We've done sort of refereeing. What we do more for the juniors is we'll put on like little sort of we call them trainee showcase shows, and it's just sort of the juniors getting to go in there and perform in front of the parents and things.
Yeah, a friends and family show, I think is the way Mitch described it.
Exactly, yeah. So we take turns sometimes refereeing, or some guys take turns announcing, getting a little bit of experience on everything. So I've done refereeing there, and when in training, if we're doing training matches, we take turns reffing. And
I think that's good. It's good to know how to ref, because then I mean, when you're having a match, then it just gives you a little bit better understanding of everything.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
I think that's a good thing.
100%.
Canary, you've been pretty silent over there. The beak is not chirping like it usually is.
Well, yep. At 10:30 at the end of the week, I'm absolutely exhausted. No, but one thing I could be wrong, but I remember Mitch. I'm pretty sure he's held that title more than once, the junior heavyweight title.
Yes, twice I think. Second time's just gone. Yeah.
So I remember a point he made was when he first won the belt. He felt a lot of pressure. And felt very conscious of it. Obviously, wrestling 3 years, you won a championship. Did you feel the same feelings when you won the title?
Yes, mainly because I think I won it. I want to say on my 5th match or 4th match. So it was very early on.
And do you guys pretty much do monthly shows?
Yes, at that point we were monthly. We did take a little bit of a break over Christmas just for there was a problem with venues, so we couldn't really get a show on. But pretty much 4th match in, I'm holding the juniors division's title. There's a lot of pressure then to sort of not only on shows but in training to step up and train that bit harder. And it was quite a challenge when you were very early on to see, sort of like show yourself in a credible light and say, this is the correct decision. I can carry this well. So it was. I didn't get a long reign, but I still got the opportunity, and that's what I'm most grateful for.
Well, and then have you worked? Sorry, Canary, but have you worked in any other leagues besides Full Tilt Wrestling, or has FTW been the only one you've worked with so far? No,
it's just been Full Tilt for now.
Full Tilt.
And then, obviously, you held the title, as you said, like not a super long time. But would you feel like it was the experience of holding that title has made you more confident to the point where, if we see Jack Garcia holding the title again, it'll be an even better reign, even longer reign because of your confidence now?
Oh yeah, 100%. I think once you get the first one out of the way, the first sort of nerves, you sort of you know what's coming the second time. I would say, if I am lucky enough to get the belt again, then or any title again, then I'm not going into this blind. I'm not sitting there saying what are people expecting, what's the booker expecting. So I would say now that those nerves are gone, I think definitely I'd be a lot more confident with a longer reign and not feeling as much pressure. Like you say, it's definitely once you get the first one out of the way, that's the problem.
Well, it's like
No, I think he's...
We've lost him.
Well,
Yeah.
here's the pulling up the curtain a little bit. When you have a championship in an organization, it generally stays with that organization. So, like this match that Canary just had, the odds of him getting the Commonwealth title, that's from some other organization, right?
Yeah.
So it's like it's odds of that happening realistically. Just we're pulling the curtain up now, guys. It just isn't in the cards. But here's the beauty of the NWF title getting reborn, because this title's not tied to any organizations. So this title does have the opportunity to go to different promotions. So one of these days, whoever wins that belt, maybe they come over to FTW and either Mitch or Jack or somebody gets a shot, and then there's another title that you might be able to get your hands on. Well, that's the whole idea with what we're doing here. We're planning the NWF belt out there again, so it can be a belt that can travel.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying?
That's the thing. You link it back. You think Ben Nelson or Canary Kid, who's going to defend that belt better? Ben Nelson probably see his money probably can't even afford himself a little plane ticket over to beautiful England. Meanwhile, me, I'll pay for my ticket. I'll go over there. I'll pay for the nicest hotel rooms, and I'll fight Jack Garcia. I'll fight Mitch. I'll fight them together at the same time. I'll fight them stacked on top of each other. I don't care.
And would you
that's
fight?
Why I
and
will
would
be
you
the better
fight?
champion.
Okay, great. And would you fight Crusher Crossen? Oh, that's where the silence starts. See how that works, Jack? See what I'm dealing with here?
Yeah, I'll see it.
I asked this question to all of our guests, Jack, so I'm going to ask you.
Yep.
Do you support physically assaulting the elderly?
Not so much, no. But I mean, sometimes
that's enough. So there we go. Crusher Crossen, you heard it here first, folks. Jack Garcia agrees that the Canary Kid should not fight Crusher Crossen.
I'll tell you this much, though. If Canary somehow goes on let's just say that belt changes hands several times and he tries to get it 2 times, 3 times, 4 times. If he gets to getting close to 5 times, I will come over there again and come out of retirement, and I will take that belt right out of your hands if you get close to it. So don't even think of doing that, Canary. Just saying.
But anyway, back to...
I could just see him doing that, Jack. That's the kind of thing he would try to do. He and John even talked about, well, let's go in there and I'll lose, you win, I'll lose, you win, I lose, you win until we get it 5 times. They actually came up with that concept.
Rumors. Silly rumors. But anyway. So Jack.
Yep. Yeah, back to Jack.
Yeah, funny enough. So obviously, you've worked with so many different coaches at once.
Yeah.
And compared to how we train here, we train with mainly just the 1 or 2 coaches, and then, every once in a while, like I'll take a session or Crooks will take a session, something like that. How do you feel is the impact of having multiple different coaches in the same place?
Well, I think it can only be beneficial because, Chris has got about 20 years experience in the business himself, and then you've got Adam Christ on top of that. You're talking 40 years of knowledge between the two of them. And even with Mitch's, I think he's on 7 years now, if I'm right. I might be wrong. It's so good having all the different styles because, Chris has been places that Adam's not been to and picked stuff up, as well as like some of the people Adam's wrestled being some of the biggest names for the UK, and he brings all of their stuff in with us, and it's really good to sort of push us to that next level where we can go to multiple different people who've seen loads of different styles, loads of different wrestlers, loads of different crowds, and worked also with loads of different bookers who have their own way of doing things. That kind of stuff really makes us feel a lot more confident when we're going in because we've got somebody there, even on show days. We can go up to them and say, I'm nervous if this happens, what would you recommend? And because of their experience, they're able to just sort of snap off an answer straight away because it's probably happened to them. I wouldn't even know off the top of my head how many matches Adam and Chris have had, but they'll have experienced nearly everything that can go wrong, and they'll have ways around it straight away. So having that level of experience has really helped a lot of us, and I think it's why a lot of us managed to progress as much as we have.
And it's very good that you learn different styles because, wrestling's not it's not one way of doing things.
Yeah.
There's variations. Lucha Libre works off the left and America, I think, works off the right. The styles can vary, So it's good to learn different styles so that you understand, for example, there was I forget who it was that came over to NIPW and showed the guys the Cobra Twist, which we call the abdominal stretch. Same move. But anyways, the way he was showing it is he would hook the leg, right? Hook the foot, leg. That's one way. The way I like to do that is I don't hook that leg. I still step through it, but I keep both feet planted. That way you don't have to worry about losing your balance. It's just, so that's what I'm saying. There's variations in these moves, right?
Yep.
And it's good to learn different variations so that you understand different, all the different ways. That's just like an example, but I'm going to get some of these questions in, you guys, because otherwise I'm going to lose them. Let's see. Street Kings. Sounds like another wrestler again. He said, because I'm just looking at what he said. Why did you try to help us in a fatal 4-way tag title tournament and never explained why? It's a question.
So that one, we won a show. I think it was Street Kings. There was a couple other tag teams, and I was tagged with a guy called Nicky Starr. Basically, Nicky just, I don't know what he was doing, where he was aiming. He goes to kick somebody in the corner, he drives his boot straight into my face. I'm on the outside, I'm down. I might have overreacted. I'm not saying that was the correct decision, but I went back in there and I planted him on his head and he got eliminated. And at that point I thought, you know what? Screw what the Booker has in mind. I'm gonna do my own thing here. I'm gonna try and help Street Kings win. And I think if I'm remembering correctly, I tried to help them out, took somebody out. They still didn't get the job done. So I'm not saying that's on them, but I mean, you were essentially 3-on-2 and you still lost. So it is.
And then JJ Hall's asking again now: is Jack planning to team with Joe?
No, I'm not. No.
So that's a definite no there. That wasn't even didn't even think twice.
We're getting the heavy questions here tonight, folks.
And then some Scott Plitt is saying, who has the junior title now? Scott Plitt.
I think he's going to have to ask JJ Hall because JJ took it off me, and then JJ doesn't have it anymore. I'm not going to comment on that. He did what he did to get that title, and he couldn't hold on to it. And he loses it. I haven't seen it since.
I'm getting some tension here.
We're going to keep asking questions, but we're going to go to the watch along so we can watch some. Now, like we said, we're going to see the match that was in question earlier in this watch along. So let's just start going and watching some of this.
100%.
We'll keep asking questions. Here we go. What are we seeing here now? Who's this?
Well, this is JJ Hall.
This is JJ Hall?
Yeah.
All right. I'm not familiar with Hall, but...
he's... So we're just coming off in the first title defense. He's just going into this match as cheated to beat Tim Strange to earn the shot. So he's coming in as heel at this one.
So you're a face in this one?
Yeah, not my default, but yeah. I think the crowd really weren't behind him for what he did to Tim Strange.
I'm a big advocate of tucking the ref shirt in, even though I never did it myself.
I will say, when you were talking about refs earlier, Katie and we've got a ref called Ross are two of the best that you can ask for.
Yeah.
They talk to you throughout the match. They're keeping you right. They're always checking on you. They're giving you what you need. But as well, they've been around so much. They've got so much knowledge as well. They're really great for support.
Sure.
And that's what you need. A lot of people don't really understand how important a good ref is to a match. They're
yeah, massively.
It's always good to have that, mediator.
Yeah, like especially you gotta have ref's got to know a spot. He can't be in the middle of the ring in the way. You got to be out of the action.
Oh.
So it's just a random fan. I would like to point out, by the way, just for the results here, I was touched by a member of the crowd, and I do believe that should count as a DQ against JJ Hall. So
yeah, interference. 100%.
Yeah, exactly.
Interference. See,
I'm not.
Yeah. Outside interference if they come into the ring.
No.
I still maintain
this full tilt wrestling thing. I respect a lot of the individuals involved in it, but they need to get better security. Those fans are
exactly.
really a rowdy bunch of gremlins.
I'm not going to say that might be why I lost the title, but I mean I have been attacked by someone else.
You guys know that back in the day, if you touched the guys, they'd knock you out. So you really didn't want to mess with the wrestlers.
Unless it was Crusher, you had nothing to worry about.
Nah, nobody messed with Crusher though, because I was usually well liked. So I wasn't a heel so much from
How the
crowd.
mighty have fallen.
Yeah,
Funny
I
how
don't-
things change.
I don't have that luxury with the crowd. I think a lot of them would punch me given the chance.
Kind of the guy they love to hate, huh?
Well, yeah.
Yeah, for me, when I'm here in Ireland, I'm usually really well received, really well liked. But for some reason, every time I go to Portugal, things don't work out. People do not like me in Portugal. I don't know. Maybe I said a few things.
What was that nickname they gave you, Canary?
Bichinhas, which is
Yes.
tiny balls. That was chanted at me in a packed out bar.
So I mean, that's not what you want, but I mean,
And I can assure to all of them and everyone watching this that I have a mediocre set of balls. They are not tiny.
In the eyes of the beholder, I guess.
Yeah, and I have great eye behold amazing eyes.
well, I mean, there's a great angle straight away. I mean, JJ Hall calls himself Big Balls Hall, so you've got Big Balls Hall, mediocre balls Canary. I'm just saying, it's a natural.
Exactly, and I think if you're calling your balls big, you're just insecure.
Well, yeah, I mean, you
This is
said
like-
that. I didn't say that.
Turning into a slugfest here in this match.
Yeah. So one
Like
thing
a UFC ground and pound.
one thing we really wanted to sort of sell on was that like we started out trying to be professional in wrestling, but because of my characters going into this thinking JJ's disrespected one of the biggest names in the UK scene by cheating, and so I took quite offense to that.
Yeah, this is what I'm afraid is going to happen with Canary and Ben. They're going to start losing their cool in the match, and it's going to turn into the same.
I don't know what you're talking about. I'm a respectful individual. I keep that hand is always open, never closed, always open hand. Respectful individual. Can't speak for Ben though. He was a great
Respectful
kid.
individual that kicks his opponents in the knees
Is that an illegal move? Is that illegal?
when the knees sore.
Is it illegal?
Yeah.
I mean, if
No,
he's
it's
working
not
the
illegal.
injury,
Yeah. Don't go in with an injury. Damn, that was a good kick.
yeah. I will say like JJ's got that sort of springboard bicycle kick. It's when he hits you, you feel it, but like not.
So is JJ's the heel, right? In this,
He
that what
is,
you said?
yeah.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
can see it. I can see it in him.
Oh, as a heel, he's brilliant at making people
Yeah.
dislike him. As well, JJ, I think
The flex when he gets up, sure,
there's
that'll
so
work.
many of them. So he's very. I think as well. This will be JJ's third show match.
Oh, is he fairly new?
He was at this point, yeah. I mean, this
Yeah.
is last year.
Okay.
So yeah, he was fairly new at this point.
Did I miss see that, or did he just do that gesture to before he hit the ropes?
I didn't see the gesture.
I
Quite
saw
possibly.
a gesture.
Maybe it's good I didn't see the gesture.
Yeah.
But he's
This looks like a really cool venue. I mean,
yeah,
to
it
do
is.
matches in. Yeah.
Because you've got like the backstage bit there, but the stairs that lead right up to a balcony, so we can all watch each other's matches from the top without interacting with the crowd.
Right.
Which is quite good because it means we get that like ability to learn from each other and support each other as well.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah, that wasn't pleasant to take.
So you're how old are you? I forgot to ask. How old are you, Jack?
So I'm 28 now. So
28. So you started training at like 25 then, basically? Other than that
About-
little thing bit you did when you were 17, but...
yeah, properly at 25. Yeah.
So at 25 coming into it, being a bit older, did you think that... Did you have any regret, like, gosh, I wish I would have done this when I was younger, like these other young kids, like Mitch and JJ looks younger, and did you ever
Yeah.
have any of that kind of haunt you a little bit?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
When I was about 9, 10, it was my older brother that got me into wrestling. and there's quite a big age gap between me and him. At the time, once he got me involved in it, and I started absolutely loving it. There was a school in Gosforth, not that far from us, about half an hour. And I tried to go to that, but it just wasn't something that we could afford to do at the time. And I wish so much that I had have went through with it properly and stuck with it. And as well, I wish I'd never stopped when I was 17 as well.
Right. I mean, you probably feel like you maybe lost some years there, huh?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. See, I'm just saying again, JJ's grabbed the referee. That's twice this match could have been thrown out.
Robbery. Honestly, complete robbery.
It is. The junior title should still be mine, I'm just saying.
Yeah, you should. And look at that.
Blatant low blow.
Well, you know something? You don't want to leave your back to the opponent. I have to say, JJ, he maybe, it's no different than you, Canary, kicking Ben in the knee. So it's, just saying.
What sounds more against the rules to you guys? Kicking someone in a legal body part, the knee, or throwing someone into a referee, hitting them in the balls and getting fancy attack that wrestler. It sounds a lot more.
Well, I used to do the knee drop to the private
and
section.
You should have been disqualified, and that's why we need to revoke all 5-10 rounds.
That as well. I mean, I've had him beat here, and if he hadn't pulled the referee, I retain. That's all I'm saying.
And look at the ultimate resilience. Even though he's hit you in the balls,
it's still going.
You're still up, and you still could have beat him.
He knocked you there pretty good, huh?
I seen some object get thrown away there. It's almost like he used a foreign object as well.
I mean, exactly. If the referee's there, maybe she sees that. But JJ decided to pull the ref. Saying he knows what he's done as well.
He said it's time, I believe. Let's see. Mitch and Scott are going back and forth on whether it's 7 years or 8 years for Mitch. Fahrenheit says, "Thanks for the kind words, man. I forgive you for attacking me."
Well, that's one person you don't want to anger, is Fahrenheit. He's too much of a nice guy. I feel like the nasty streak when that comes is going to be quite bad from him. And I'm just saying,
I gotta say, that was a slow count. JJ. I hate to be cheerleading for JJ when we got Jack in here, but man, if I was JJ, I'd be a little upset with that count.
Yeah,
that's gotta say. I'm not trying to be the heel here by any means.
Well, so this is going to be the one thing we're going to see as well. Mitch is on the announcing. This is the show straight after Mitch lost the title.
Is there going to be a match with that thing where they got to break it open or something?
No. So this is the Pinata Kevin. It was the original character. I just decided to try and have as much fun as possible. And I used to watch, obviously, the Attitude Era, and I'm seeing things like, Perry Saturn with Moppy, Al Snow with Head, and things like that.
Yeah.
And I just thought it would be funny to have a pinata. No one has one.
No.
And
he's going to wreck it?
No.
And then there you go. That's what happens to it.
He broke it.
Everyone, please look away from the screen.
There was an original idea I wanted to do with this scene, but I got shot down because it would have been...
What was that?
I wanted to fill him with red confetti. So when he snapped him, the red confetti went everywhere. But
be a mess to clean up.
Yeah, that, and there's a lot of kids in the crowd, and apparently we would have traumatized them. So...
Oh, yeah, that too.
I don't know about you guys, but I'm traumatized anyway. That was awful. Kevin seemed like a lovely guy. And there's another reason why, the title should not be given to such a animal abuser.
I like how the guys came running out when it's way past, like, where were they like a few minutes ago?
Again, I'm just saying, Street King's asking why I did it. I mean, this perfect examples. I mean, they could have came out sooner and helped.
Yeah, Street King's comment is, you look like the guy who attacked Craig Gilmore with a chair before a big PPW versus Full Tilt show. PPW, is that that's the other league you guys work with, right?
Yeah, that's Nathan Black and things like that. I think Mitch spoke about them a little bit. But I might look a little bit similar to the guy who did that.
So now this is the one lady match you had that we were talking about.
So this match wrestling Julia, was kind of, it's on the show where we're starting to build the PPW angle. So Nico, who was with PPW, had brought Julia in.
Okay.
So I'm wrestling kind of for FTW at this point. In Julia's kind of wrestling for the PPW side.
Is she from their league then?
So Julia's actually, she wrestles mostly in Holland.
Okay.
And she's traveled all through Europe wrestling. So to be in the ring with her was insane to learn from.
Right.
Because even at this point, you know, pulling the curtain back a bit, she's talking to me the whole time about, you know, slow it down, like don't rush through this. But she was brilliant to work with. But this is about 3 or 4 months after the match we've just seen.
So this is later then from that match?
Yeah, this is a more recent one, yeah.
I look like kicked into the knee. You gonna complain about that one, Crush?
Yeah.
What's that?
I mean,
kick to the knee?
Kick to the knee, yeah.
Only that's so bad, do you?
Well, only if it's by you.
There you go, Crush. Schmucker cross, and that's the
Yeah, and Keaton will just give me an earful. Oh, you're so Wrestling Revolution. Keaton is like, you disrespect the Canary Kid. You disrespect the Canary. If I have to hear that one more time out of Keaton's mouth, I'll tell you, that kid.
Why would he pronounce me as the Canary Kid?
He always says Canary instead of Canary.
I mean, I've never heard that, but if he does,
It's your accent. You say it too.
Canary.
Canary, yeah, Canary.
I'm not saying Canary. I'm saying Canary.
Sounds the same to me.
No, Canary. Canary. You hearing that different sound?
I mean, you're going to have to get it right for when you announce him as the next champion, I'm just saying.
But I don't have to announce him. I just have to raise his hand if he wins. I may be raising Ben's hand, though, is the thing.
You won't, don't worry.
The three count comes by me.
It's just a shame you can't count to 3 yet if you've been working
Well,
on
unless Ben makes him submit.
That's true.
You have submitted before. You know, that's something, Jack. I've never submitted. I don't know what that's like. I can't tell you how that works because this guy here, my co-host, not my main host, my co-host, he's submitted.
Say, I'm on the same side there. I don't think I've ever tapped out yet.
You haven't tapped?
Not yet.
Well, I only tapped out when I was still young in my career. I was a 15-year-old against an experienced wrestler. It's only natural, you know?
I mean, good way to look at it. You're protecting your future career. You know, you stay in that hold longer, don't tap, you get injured.
Exactly.
So you're going to go for that kangaroo-style drop kick.
Yes, yeah. One thing that Julia was really good at teaching was the importance of how you can get to the next spot without having to hit a move. So you can do stuff like that, miss something, and then that sets her straight up for the pin.
Yeah. Whoa.
I'll be honest, when I did that, so before the match, it actually hurt. I get a little bit of an injury before the match even starts. So trying to springboard off the middle rope when I had a bad angle was quite difficult. So I don't necessarily get the height, but it was, I think it lands enough. One issue we did, that was quite new for me, we were both coming into this as faces, so it was kind of like face versus face. And trying to keep the crowd not booing one while while cheering both was quite a challenge.
Yeah, that's what's going to be interesting with these two, because Canary and Ben, they're both faces.
Right.
I don't know what's going to happen with that. Although Canary's his temper's been getting the best of him lately.
What temper?
That Irish temper that you can't seem to control.
No, that barn burner amazing wrestler capability that made me steal the show last week, you know, against a veteran in Canadian wrestling of 18 years. In a double title match. How many of those did you have, Crusher? Out of curiosity.
I've done title for title. When I was world champ, I went against either the national champ or the U.S. champ.
That's not what I'm asking. I'm asking how many times did you fight against double champions?
Well, the better question is how many times did I have multiple championships?
How
And there were
many
several.
times did you face double champions? You're ignoring
I
my question.
held the belts.
You're really
so
ignoring my
I-
question out here. How many times did you
How
fight?
can I
18 year-
fight somebody else with another
It-
belt when I already
it-
have them?
Hi,
That's what I'm trying to say.
my question is, how many times did you fight 18-year veterans?
I didn't.
You had 2
Canary
titles.
distracted me, Jack. What happened in that match? Did you win or did she win?
No, I got the win on that one. Luckily, yeah.
You did.
I did.
Oh,
Yes.
that's awesome. Yeah.
Jimmy
So
Jack Rosemouth.
no, Canary. But back to your question, I never had to face somebody else with the belt that had multiple
Yeah,
belts because they
skill
were lucky
issue.
if they had
It's
one.
like a skill issue right there,
Yeah.
You know, it's fine. I understand. It's our ecosystem. You know, you're just the plankton. I'm the great white shark. You know, I'm the one apex predator right here, and you're just a little bottom feeder. Like, that's just how things work.
Yeah, you're like the carp. I don't know if they have carp over there in Ireland, but they eat anything.
We might.
So, what is next on the horizon for Jack Garcia? Like, what's going to happen next with you? What do you got going on for your future?
Yeah, we've got just coming off the back of the last show. We are working the angle with me and Big Chris. So,
oh, really? So you're working an angle with him?
Yeah. So what we did was we followed on from the PPW versus FTW show. I was everybody and the fans, or when we were talking inside the club, had always said, "Oh, JJ Hall's going to be the one that turns on FTW and sides with PPW." So me and Chris spoke and decided it would be a good angle if it wasn't. We set it up so like all of PPW come out and then all of FTW come out and there's a face-off. So me and JJ are stood right next to each other, either side of Mitch. Everyone's waiting for JJ to turn on Mitch and turn on the company, and I do it. So we do the big switch. We're going into that. PPW lose the title mark, the sort of winner takes all, for control of the company. And me and Chris are continuing that story of me being this sort of turncoat, the one that's causing all these problems inside his company. Which is why I've came up with the Chaos King.
Yeah, your slogan.
Nickname, yeah, because that's essentially what me and now Barrett and Drogo as a faction are doing. We're sort of disrupting the company from within, drawing a lot from sort of 90s DX. I think, but trying to do it more as a heel faction rather than a face. So we've got the Tag Team Classic, which is in 2 weeks.
What's that going to be?
So it's basically a tournament bracket. The winners win a sort of Tag Team Classic Cup. They get a shot at Street Kings for the Tag Team Championships. I'm in the corner of Barrett and Drogo.
And how many tag teams are going to be in this?
There's, I believe, 8 so far. The world.
You know what's funny, Jack? This is, oh my gosh. So we did the same thing in '86. We call it the NWF Tag Team Cup. We had 8 teams too. We did the same thing, and the winner got a shot at the World Tag Team Champs.
Exactly.
Isn't that funny how wrestling's full circle that way?
We always say that is there's always somebody in trainings like, I want to come up with a brand new idea, and wrestling's been going that long now. You're bound to go back over one. So
because that's why I had to know. It's like when you said 8 teams, it's like, God, that's just too much of a coincidence. We had it wasn't a cup; it was like a trophy. You won a trophy for this thing, but yeah.
So yeah, that's the next show, and then after that we've got one in May, which we haven't discussed anything for yet. I don't know what's going to be. It'll depend on the outcome of the tournament. If Drogo and Barrett get the job done.
And are you guys still going like once a month, or are you doing more shows now?
We're going bi-monthly now, so we're doing April, and then we're missing May, and then we're going in.
Oh, so you're only going every 2 months then?
Pretty much, yeah. I think the schedule's going to be every 2 months now.
Okay.
Yeah. I think the venue we're at, we couldn't get it every month. We're trying to alternate a venue somewhere else as well.
Try to
get
get
a bit
something
more.
else in between.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Well, don't you have the ability to do shows at your training facility as well if you wanted to?
We do, yes. I think there's a lot of like the health and safety things would stop us getting as too many people in.
Right.
But there is always that option that we can't do training show. I think the guys have got one Sunday. They're doing a little training show. And
Well, the cool thing about here's what's cool about doing your show at your training facility. You control the whole thing. So any kind of concessions or anything like that, it's all for the company.
Mhm.
Like unfortunately for like I was talking to Nathan with these guys over there at the Malone show, they don't get they get none of the bar proceeds, which sucks because there's a lot of money to be made there if you can get in on that. But it is what it is, right? And that's the thing, you get into different places and they have different rules and you got to kind of go by what their deal is.
Yeah.
But yeah, so and who knows, like if we got this title match coming up, and I just want to kind of show this quick. I think I have it in the screen, don't I? Yeah. I'm going to cover up you a second, Jack, but this is that title match we're talking about, Canary versus Ben. And, whoever wins this, I think it would be cool to have, if they, your Canary, you've been talking about going over there at some point, maybe Ben as well, and whoever has the belt, it'd be cool to go over there and they can figure out who they're going to have to go against you. But
yeah,
that's just something that could be down the line, right?
I mean, JJ Hall's called him out in the chat. I mean, he's saying there that Canary needs to not talk about him if you want to do Canary. And
oh, did I miss that? Let me see what the comments say there.
I'm sure Mitch wouldn't mind getting in on it. You've got Fahrenheit and myself as well. Could be quite a big
yes, I see that. JJ Hall. Yeah, maybe JJ Hall might be in this mix as well.
Yeah.
But he says, this is for you, Canary. I've been watching this on delay. Canary Skib needs to shut his mouth chatting about me. So I don't think JJ Hall took too kindly to your comments.
Look, listen here, JJ No Balls. This is how things work on the NWF podcast. When I talk about schmucks like you, I give you your 5 minutes of fame. So what you should be putting in is, Dear Canary Kid, also known as my hero, thank you so much. I've gained so many more followers since you spoke my name a few times. So kind of watch the attitude next time, or I won't give you your bit of spotlight for a bit, and you can just go back to being JJ No Balls. Who has the cheat to win championships, by the way?
Yeah, I thought you looked pretty good in there, and that was a good match you guys had. I thought.
Yeah, I was quite happy with that one. Yeah,
talented individual from the looks of it, very talented, great ability, but clearly the wrong mindset because it took that much cheating. And here, I know.
And JJ, just so you know, Canary talks tough, but once you get in the ring with him and you beat him, then he'll. That's how you get him to shut up. Is you have to beat him in the ring. Is what it comes down.
I understand. Jack here, talented individual, hard to beat, right? Chaos King for a reason. He's not the Chaos Prince. He's not the Chaos Squire. Chaos King. All right.
And everybody's questioning if I'm going to be impartial because of the way I talk. Look, I just tell it like it is. If Canary's got a big mouth, I'm going to tell him. If the sky's blue, you say it's blue. You don't say it's pink. So, I just got to call it like it is.
Yeah,
so
the same way I remind you that you're an old senile man.
Well, I mean, I'm not going to stir the pot here, but I mean, he's been very nice to me. I think he's a very lovely guy, and I would love to, if he wants to come over here and we want to see what goes on when me and him face each other, I'm more than happy. But
yeah, 100%. You got that faction going on. If you guys ever need any help, I'm always a phone call away. Because especially when it comes to people like JJ over here.
Yeah, exactly.
And I understand Mitch will be coming over to Northern Ireland. Maybe by the time he does, maybe he gets a shot at the NWF title. Whoever has it when he comes, who knows? Yeah. So and then he brings it back to FTW.
And I can guarantee that I would defend it against Mitch. As I said, Ben Nelson won't do that. Ben Nelson's too busy going to her appointments.
I don't want to hear about who you'll
I
don't want to hear about who you'll defend the belt with because you will never get in the ring with me or Big Chris or any real challenge. So I'm going to lose these comments. Let me just get them in here quick. Fahrenheit says,
Yeah, we're doing the show in April. I missed.
You're actually doing a
May,
show in
sorry.
May. It's called Barnston Bone Shaker.
Yes, yeah, it is. Yeah.
And then Mitch says, Blaze of Glizzly for the win, baby.
Yeah, Fahrenheit and Mitch are in the tag team tournament. They'll be
I
going
see.
out first round.
And then Scott Plitz says, Canary, those shades are older than you. I think, is he referring to the shades that you have on in the picture, I think?
It
On
might
the
have been,
thumbnail, probably? Yeah, he's got a point there.
I'm bringing back fashion. If you don't know this, the Canary Kid is one of the greatest influencers in pro wrestling. And I can assure you now, tomorrow, you will see your colleagues, you will see your friends, you'll see your enemies. Damn it, you'll see your own mother walking around in a pair of Canary Kid glasses. Those beautiful radiators. Oh,
I don't believe they're called Canary Kid glasses.
now they are. That's what the people are calling them. Word on the street, don't shoot the messenger. All right.
And then
That was a
Street
big
King
influence.
says, we are winning this cup and none, I think he meant of. None of yous are getting a future title shot. We're going to be drinking a ton of drink out that cup.
Well,
Yeah.
thank God it's not a spelling bee.
And then Scott Plitz says, Canary Skids. I like that. I like that. Canary Skids. Cat has more charisma than he does. And the cat's just laying there like a slug. Just like a slug.
I'll take it as a compliment. To see my cat is one of the most charismatic cats on the planet. And having this cat sitting here right beside me automatically means that I get way more pussy than you ever will, Scott Pitt. Next question.
And then, speaking of next question, the big man himself, Big Chris, is chiming in here. I'm good. My tongue is any of you step into FTW, you be going home in a body bag.
I mean, he talks a big game. I wouldn't worry about Big Chris. I mean, we had the no.
Anyway.
Yeah, I mean, you take out Mitch the Kid Canary, we got Big Chris. Don't even worry about that.
See,
I'm still
that's
wanting
that
to do
link
the Big Chris and Big Crush tag team against these guys, young guys, but they're
You
Canary's
would be the right
afraid.
on the coattails.
Canary's afraid to get in the ring with me. Period. So that probably never happened.
God, next question.
And
I'm
then,
giving
yeah,
this
speaking of
down,
next, JJ Hall says this. We got Canary Skid. I'm going to say Skid. Canary Skid crashing out before GTA 6.
The disrespect, the disrespect.
Yeah, the fact you're making GTA 6 jokes at your big age is really disappointing, bro. You might have to take a second to look in the mirror and think about the GTA 6 memes that you're really dragging. It's really disappointing. All right, next question. That's not champion material.
We're all caught up now.
All right, thank God. Get that gone.
I mean, if we wanted, we could easily do me and my team with Canary Kid against any of these that want to step up. I think there's money there.
You want to team up with the Canary Kid? You know, you realize that when he goes outside of Ireland, everybody hates him. He's booed. He's not a good guy.
Well, that's the thing. Jack knows himself. These people don't know what they want.
Exactly.
They don't realize Jack Garcia and his group are the best thing to happen to Full Tilt Wrestling. They just don't know it yet. They don't know what they want. They don't realize, the deeper lying picture. And that's that Full Tilt Wrestling is nothing without the support of Jack Garcia and his band, Garrett and the other guy. I don't know the other guy, but
Yeah. We'll change it when once we get rid of Big Chris, we'll change it. We'll get Canary over. We'll get him the respect he deserves. Get rid of them. All money.
Well,
Take
if,
over.
If, and this is a big if Canary beats Ben for the belt and he gets the title, or if he doesn't, he gets it at another point in time. Whoever has it, besides FTW, you got Officer Smalls, you got Hernandez, you got Pure Pro Wrestling in Michigan with Drake that says he wouldn't be minding getting his hands. You got some pretty fierce competition that would be breathing down your neck.
It's funny you mentioned Sean Hernandez, right? I'm sure you know Sean Hernandez, Jack, LAX, TNA wrestler. Funny story. I remember Sean when he was still coming up in the wrestling business. He always looked up to me, Sean Hernandez. And I remember I gave him great advice one day. He looked at me. He was a ginger kid, small, had a retainer and stuff and big glasses. And I remember I looked at him and I said, "You want to be a wrestler? Get rid of all that. Get rid of all the glasses. Get rid of that retainer."
So, Jack, we're
do
talking
some
about
push-ups.
Super Mechs. And can you just picture it? I can picture him picking up Canary and just throwing him like a missile about
much
15
respect.
rows out into the crowd.
Too much respect for me. He looks up to me. You know, he's a good kid, Sean. He's a good guy.
And he probably catches up on this stuff, and he hears what he's saying. I don't know, man. That's
I
one
love
guy
Sean.
that I don't think I would be wanting to be messing with.
Well, we
Just
had
saying.
nicknames for each other and all. He called me Master Uruguay, and I called him Little Herney. It was we had that kind of link up, you know. Honestly,
So hey,
Good
Mitch
kid.
wants to know this.
Yeah.
Wait, I got to get this in though because it's a Canary Skid comment. Scott Pitt says Canary Skid versus his real enemy, his barber. Yeah, I agree. When are you going to get a haircut? You know, a lawnmower could maybe take care of it. When are you going to get a haircut?
I don't need a haircut. The more of me in this
Got that big
world, the
mop in
better.
the front, just kind of hanging there.
Looks like someone's jealous that I still have some sort of hair going. And
Yeah.
this Pitt does a lot of talk, right? Meanwhile, he hides his face between his stupid ass. All right. I don't think you'd be making comments about yours truly looks the absolute model fashionista
And
if
then
you showed your face.
Mitch the
Scott
kid
Pitt.
says he says ask Jack about the shit kicking he got from me. So yeah, what happened with the? Did you have a singles match with Mitch then?
No, what this is just Mitch doing what he does best, trying to make it all about him. There was no kicking, okay? He jumped me from behind. He tried to get a few cheap shots in. Luckily, I was held back by Barrett and Drogo. Otherwise, you wouldn't be hearing from Mitch.
You know what we
anymore.
need to do with all these guys talking? We need to get you. We need to get Mitch. We need to get JJ. We need to get a whole smorgasbord of you guys in here and have a big conversation, a big round table, huh?
Hey,
That's what we need
I'm
to
all
do.
for that.
They can leech off the spotlight that, you know, me and Jack bring to the table all day. That's what
Yeah.
they can do. And, you know, Mitch, I with all due respect, I respect you a lot, Mitch. I think you're a very talented individual, but you talk about the shit kicking. Who was it who beat you for your title, Mitch?
Exactly. See, that's one thing he doesn't mention. This is why Canary gets paid the big bucks. All right, he gets the correct questions. All right.
You know,
I don't know about this, guys. Jack, you're being fooled here. Don't be mesmerized by this little Tweety bird, as I like to say. You're just getting mesmerized by the fluff that he puts out there. You got to be able to see the reality of it. You got to look through all this image that he has in that hair.
Wow.
Because, yeah,
Gorgeous hair. Ooh, you see that?
I don't know. Ben's got that, nice 80s mullet just like Mitch.
Yeah, he's
So-
got the kind of haircut that you'd see someone who's going for a midlife crisis would pull out. Most likely a 50-year-old woman.
So Barrett Scoop says Garrett. What does he mean by Garrett?
Oh, I think he means, Canary. And, he's had a long day. I'm not going to hold anything against him. He might have incorrectly pronounced the name. So things
You know
happen. We're not going to take it personally.
Barrett, sorry, I correct myself. Barrett, you know what? That's the thing. We're building this. This is a team building exercise. You know what? And that's what it's all about. But if we want to take over, I got to get to know everyone first. You know, that's why it's a long process. I'm letting these guys get the work done when I, icebreaker my way in.
And
Exactly.
Scott says back to you, Canary. He doesn't like your tone, and I don't either. He says modern fashionista, but still gets his ma'am to cut his hair. That's mom, right?
You're completely wrong. My mother does not cut my hair. But instead I invite your mother over to do it for me, and then we get up to other activities before.
Oh, hey.
So maybe just keep your comments out of here for your own sake.
And then
tell
and
Mrs. Pitt I said hi.
I know you're such a worshiper of Mitch the Kid, Canary, but he says fight him, Ricky. So yeah, fight Mitch. I don't
You'd
think
like that much, wouldn't you?
If I can just jump in on this, I don't think for 1 second Canary's ducking Mitch. I think it's the other way around.
Oh no! You gotta understand, Jack. I gotta jump in now. All he does is we gotta get Mitch. We want to have Mitch the Kid. We gotta get Mitch the Kid back. We gotta get Mitch the Kid back. He just in this big love affair of Mitch the Kid. But as you can see, Mitch is like, we're not none of this tag up stuff.
And people
You
wonder,
and him, one-on-one.
People wonder why I'm the way I am. Betrayal is an awful thing. The respect I had for Mitch, and look at him, this sort of violent, aggressive conduct towards me. I did nothing wrong. I simply just asked the question of who beat Mitch for his title. I was curious.
I just wonder when Mitch
this
does
is-
make it over there. Maybe he gets on a Malone show or something. But when he gets over there, will he be cheered or booed? Because Mitch is like has Mitch ever been a heel?
Well, no. I mean, what he's doing is he's putting up this mask. He acts like a good guy. I don't buy it. I see straight through it. I think
I just
people are
kind of
going to see the
wonder.
real me.
I mean, there's such a big. I don't understand it. I got to say, I don't understand what Northern Ireland sees in this scrawny Crusher Crossen wannabe
Hey,
Canary
don't
Kid.
talk bad about
I
Ben
don't
like that. Come
understand
on,
what
I know he's
they see in him over there.
Ben's not
Northern
great,
Ireland.
but no need to call him scrawny. Nah, it's too far. All right.
And then
Ben,
Big Chris says, "Ask Jack how's his head." What did you get? Did you have a recent match with Big Chris and got like a boot to the head or something?
Well, I did. Yes, we had a no DQ match, and Big Chris did what he did. Fair enough. He got lucky for 3 seconds, but I would like to ask Chris a question, and that is, which one of us walked out of that match? And I believe that was me. I believe he had to be helped to his feet by Mitch the Kid and Fahrenheit. That's all I'm saying. I walked out on my own steam. He didn't. So who's the real winner?
So are you? Now let me ask you this. Just because I always like to show Canary Kid, would you ever be afraid to get in the ring with Crusher Crossen, Jack?
I mean, this is the thing about like Jack Garcia. All right? He'll fight anybody, anywhere, anytime, any place. As long as the money's on the table, I'll do business.
See?
If you want to step there, let's go.
Exactly. You see, Canary, that's how it's done. You don't duck, you don't dodge.
let me rephrase. Crusher doesn't have the money to put on the table. All right.
Well, you see, that changes things. That does change things.
Oh,
See?
Canary,
the thing.
Canary, quite contrary. Yes.
I'm the breadwinner in this podcast.
So
So
here-
I bring in the money. I get.
Here's a question for you, Canary. Ace
See if it's a
says,
split or. all right.
"What's a canary?"
Oh, is he with you guys? Is he
He is, yeah.
not educated? No, never.
Don't worry, we'll deal with him in the tag team tournament.
Alright.
I'll introduce him to what a canary
Okay.
really is.
Well, yeah. Canary's a bird brew. Might want to Google that. That's honestly,
So-
it's maybe David Attenborough wasn't it on your TV when
Well,
you
if
were
you're the
younger.
Canary Kid, I'm the American Eagle Crush, and an eagle would eat a canary for lunch.
Oh, okay.
So, just so you know, if you're gonna pick a bird, pick something like more better than a canary. I mean,
Well, here's the thing about a canary. Right, we're gonna talk about this. The thing about a canary is a lot of people seem to. If I tell you that you're getting chased by an eagle, you're gonna go, "Oh shit, an eagle! That's terrifying." A hawk, oh god, not a hawk. You know, a bloody pteranodon. You know, something like that. It's terrifying for you. You hear a canary, you're gonna underestimate. You're gonna go, "It's a canary. It's a little tiny bird. It's not gonna do any harm." And that's me. I stand the 5'9", 145 pounds, and a lot of people don't see me as a big threat. Little do they know that if you haven't done your research, then you may not know that I am the longest reigning junior heavyweight champion in NIPW history, and I'm one of the most feared men on the island of Ireland. I am a talented, hard-hitting individual, hardest hitting pound for pound in NIPW, might I add. So, and that's the thing.
and he's
People
still
like you,
working.
Crusher,
and
who
he's
have
still,
two-dimensional brains, don't realize how dangerous a canary is.
and he's still working on his drop kick to try to get it as good as Crusher's. So just leave it there.
You know what's so funny? I will actually get the clip up soon enough. You know, maybe for the next episode, because on my last match when I hit a drop
I
kick,
seen it.
it
You
was
did
so
it twice.
magnificent that you heard a little voice in the background. It was some fan, I don't know, Keaton or something, said, "Even better than Crushers." He shouted that.
He
in
said
the
it
match.
almost as good as Crusher's.
He said
Almost as
even
good.
better.
You
He
didn't
said
hear that
even
right.
Better than Crushers.
What is he doing opening his mouth like that anyway? He knows better than that. I'm going to talk to that kid.
You notice how Crusher picks his fight with a 17-year-old and a 12-year-old?
What are your top one to talk? You rough him up in training and juniors training every week.
No, me and Keaton have a great relationship. Great working
Yeah,
relationship.
I've seen the video footage.
I'm sure you have, pal.
And then let's see. JJ says this. I'm going to get
Oh,
these comments are going to roll
Jesus.
by. Yeah, he says, "What is it with people having kid in their name and being overrated and mouthy?"
That's a double shot.
Yes, it is.
I don't care about the other guy, right? But I'm just going to talk about this. Question. We're meant to be interviewing Jack Garcia here, so question. How do you put up with JJ Hall, like, on an everyday basis?
It's an ongoing problem. You know, you just got to go in there and just do what you can. You just try and tune them out. You know,
Yeah, okay.
and then once you get the chance to get in the ring with them, you You do what you got to do.
Jack, you seem like a very intelligent person here, and you're falling for this mouth over here on the other side of the screen, and he's hoodwinking you into all this. Don't fall for what he's saying here.
You know, usually being on the podcast with Crushers gives me a big enough headache. So based on the fact that JJ Hall is here and I just got asked what's a canary by one of your guys, it looks like I'm doubling up my dosage of paracetamol after this because this is brutal.
But now you know what I have to deal with on a daily basis, man. It's all the same.
Canary, when you were talking about money, Fahrenheit says he'll fight for free, and as will I, Fahrenheit. So you and I are in the same boat there.
Yeah,
And,
Fahrenheit. That's the thing, though. That's the thing. You would fight for free because maybe that's your worth, but that's not the worth of people like Jack Garcia. He's priceless. Jack Garcia.
And
So
Scott
people
Fitz
like you
says,
would be free.
It says,
Oh my
Ace
God,
Canary
still
is a
coming in here.
bitch, he says. There you go,
What
Canary.
vulgar language.
You've
from
been
you,
making
you know
a
what?
lot of friends out there by the looks of it here.
You know, language like that, Plit, honestly, it just shows a lack of vocabulary, and I guess that's understandable. I guess some people in this aren't really educated, considering you're talking to Ace, the guy who didn't know what a canary was.
And then Street King says, Canary, you are from Ireland, so breadwinning for you is like €2 a year.
Fun fact, I'm from Northern Ireland, so we have pounds here. Do your research before you talk. Maybe if you did your research, you'd learn how to spell too.
Yeah, fixed content.
Yeah, from Northern Ireland. Yes, I guess you can say that.
I guess you'd say I'm right.
And Mitch says, if you can be a canary, can I be a hawk too?
Can I be a hawk too, huh? A hawk too? What's that even mean? I mean, if you want to be a hawk, I guess. Like, I was seeing you as more of a magpie. A little bit shady and a little bit of mischievous, like, but I mean, if you want to be a hawk too, huh? I mean, whatever works.
You know, he likes to run his mouth, and that's what I see what I deal with every other week. This title match coming up, I'm not. Was I freezing?
Yeah, you froze.
Oh man, it's doing it again. Anyways, when it comes to the title match coming up, though, even though Canary's a thorn in my side on this show, I'm not going to play favorites as Keaton thinks. I will call it down the middle, and I'm not going to play any games when I'm in there reffing, and I don't take any crap either. So if Canary gets mad because of my count or whatever, and he gets in my face, I will get back in his face. You don't mess with the ref.
Why would I want to go anywhere near your face, Crusher? You look like the kind of guy who has not seen a bottle of Colgate in at least 10 years. So I will not be going near you, Crusher. Trust me.
Yeah, but your Irish temper will start speaking for you, and then you're going to... That's just it, Canary. If you can keep your cool, you'll have a chance.
I would rather have the Irish temper over American incompetence any day of the week. And
are you trying to say I'm going to be incompetent?
I'm trying to say you are incompetent.
See, Jack, and this is who you're listening to? Now, look, you can either listen to him or you can listen to the knowledge of the show, and that would be
Jack
me.
listens to nobody but his own morals. I'm just here talking to him like a human. You don't have to listen to people all the time. That's the problem that people have with Jack. He lives by his own morals. You know, he's a bit of the black sheep of Full Tilt, and that's what people have an issue with. But no, I respect that, and that's why we're amicably having this sort of bond here. You know?
And Street Kings, just to answer your question, the Republic of Ireland, are you from? He's from He's part of the Northern Ireland, the UK
I'm from
part.
Northern Ireland. So so now we need people who need to learn how to spell, which is yourselves, Street Kings. We need to learn people to go through their, Animal Kingdom in Ace, and then now you also need to know your geography. So there was a whole thing, thanks to your country, that Ireland was split in half to North and Republic. I'm in North, not Republic, but I'm on the island of Ireland. But in the North here, we use pounds. Okay, but maybe do a little bit of research. Before
what do they use in Ireland?
Pounds, the same as England.
So you use pounds in everywhere. So what's that have to do with it?
You don't use it in the Republic. The Republic uses euros.
Well, that's what I meant. That's what I asked. So okay, so they use euros.
Oh yeah, the Republic use euros. We use pounds.
All right. Yeah, so Canary Kid trying to give us a lesson in history and political, not political, but
That's geography, that's not
geography, and yeah. So
And you know what? Maybe that's what I have to do. Maybe I have to teach you because it seems like the full tilt roster, apart from people like Jack here, aren't very educated. And based on the fact that you're from America, Crusher, doesn't look like you're very educated either, based on the education system there. So just doing you all favors, and that's
yeah,
what it is.
you know something,
Educational
Canary.
show.
I can when you if you come to America, well, let's just say this: if you win the NWF belt, and if you come to America,
Does America not have good internet connection or something?
did
Do you
I
guys
just
not
freeze
have
up
internet
again?
over there?
You did, yeah.
Yeah, I seen it myself.
Yeah.
But anyways, you will not be a crowd favorite in this country with your attitude. I
I don't
right
want to
now.
be a crowd favorite for a bunch of brainless, dead-minded rednecks who have some sort of, marriage going on with their third cousin. That's not really my thing. But, whatever your thing is, go for it. But I'm not really up for that kind of support. It's not my demographic. He's not even
So
close, he's just speechless.
before we're getting towards the end of the show, but I want to go over a couple things quick before we always talk about what's coming up on the horizon. So I want to go over this a little bit quick. Let's see here. Where are we at? So, why do I always bring this in? I don't know.
Yeah, it's probably the dementia kicking in. You press the wrong thing as usual. What a shock.
I didn't want this one. That's Canary Kid and
Old
Crusher
man.
Crossen, but we know that's how that would go.
These
But,
guys, isn't it? What do you think?
well, that's a nice picture-perfect drop kick.
Yeah,
to Canary's
that-
face.
Look how
It's a great
look how
shot.
dangerous that guy is, though. He's kicking somebody who's unprotected in the head. I think that should be a DQ.
And you know what the thing is, though? This is a picture. They don't realize, as I've said many times, what the Canary would do in that situation. He would say, well, that's a young Crusher Crossing as well, but we'll talk about young, not old, because the old one can't really stand up, never mind jump. So, he tries to jump and hit that drop kick. I simply just turn my shoulder, like Lionel Messi in his 92-goal season. I turn, watch him fly, land flat on his back, and then from there, I proceed to cave his head in and pin him and ruin his career. That's what would have happened. All right, we wouldn't have seen 5-time champ Crusher Cross. We wouldn't lucky to see 1-time champ because I would have put an end to that real quick.
And speaking of that drop kick, we're gonna NWF Rewind on our next one is going way back to the Group W studio days to the time when I first did the drop kick, and that is a shot of me doing the drop kick for the very first time, landing on a hard ass wood stage. Not fun. But I was so excited to do it, I did it twice in a row. It's like one of those things when you learn a move and the light bulb goes off and you want to keep doing it. But that's where it started from anyway, back in 1984. So we're going back early days. Our NWF fans love this stuff. I hate watching it. That is what it is. And then I had a graphic for Keaton's show, but it's all changed and stuff. He's going to have her on at a different time. So I don't even know the time, but it's not going to be the time you see here, but I believe it's going to be early Sunday morning or Saturday. I don't know, either Saturday or Sunday morning. I don't know the time on this, but you'll just have to pay attention to Keaton's channel and you'll see when this is going to happen. But it had to get rescheduled because she had something going on. So, and then our next NWF Forward, I'm really looking forward to this. It's going to be the former NWF champs, at least three out of the four of us. Ace and myself and Kid Kelsey to talk to Ben Nelson and the Canary Kid. Yes, that's right, Canary. We're gonna have Ben back again, and I know you like that. And I know Ben's looking forward to meeting these guys. And Ace will be a real interesting conversation, only because for his time in the league, it was always shoot title matches. So he has a whole different take on title matches. Compared to the rest of us. Kelsey's been around the whole thing though, so he's done the shoots as well as the regular stuff. So that'll be a great show. And that's just to kind of build up for the match coming up. So we're looking forward to that. So that'll be a good conversation. Are you looking forward to seeing Ben again, Canary?
Next question.
Are you looking forward to meeting Ace and Kelsey?
It's going to be great to meet some actual good champions of the NWF World Championship.
Thank you.
And then it'll be good to be able to pass on to them that, I promise to, put their title reigns to shame and become the greatest champion of all time.
Yeah, Kelsey's going to have something to say. He thinks he's still the champ.
He would.
But see, Kelsey forgets that he failed to appear at the dry dock and he got stripped. He doesn't like that part. So, the history's what it is, guys. Where are we at with comments here before we sign off? Let's see if we got anything else. Let's see.
Split.
Big Chris says, Canary is a crybaby. And Big Chris, you know what? If I ever get to England, you and I just need to team up and take care of Canary and whoever he wants. Maybe then Canary will get in the ring. I don't know.
I think Chris is a little bit jealous that although his son is so talented, he knows if I was to step into the ring, I would make everyone realize that the potential that they think he has isn't all that great in comparison to mine. I think that's why Chris is a little bit salty here in the comments.
It's always
He knows talent, and he knows that I am a threat.
This is the guy Chris is, man. That's why I had to do what I had to do. He always comes. It's always got to be about him. He's always got to come in things, make it about him.
If this isn't the pot calling the kettle black here with you two, I don't know what is.
The pedal calling the kettle black. What was
I know
that?
it's kind of a complicated thing, Canary. You have to listen to it back and replay.
Your American education system brain.
And then another comment by LOLV1V1. Canary, do the Riz face, baby. Riz face.
Are you putting the comment in, or
didn't I? Oh, I didn't. Sorry. Canary, do the Riz face, baby.
Do the Riz face, baby.
And then he says this, Canary, what is your thoughts on the wrestler PA keys?
Who are these people?
I have no clue.
I have no idea. Do you guys know what that is?
No clue.
No, I'm not going to say it all together, though.
And then, what is Jack Garcia's goal by the end of 2025? Fahrenheit wants to know.
I'm sure Fahrenheit does want to know because he's always saying he could beat me. That's just false. He keeps saying it, but he never actually steps up. So my goal by the end of 2025 is simple. Me, Barrett, and Drogo, we're going to change the business. We are completely going to rewrite what FTW is, and then the fans will actually get to see things they want to see. We'll get Canary over. We'll pay the big bucks. We'll show them true wrestling. That's what we want to do. That's why we want rid of Mitch. That's why we want rid of Fahrenheit. So the goal by 2025 is simple. We're just going to make FTW the best it can be, and that simply is by getting rid of Big Chris, get rid of Mitch, great people like Canary coming in.
That's what I envision, maybe Mitch the Kid gets that NWF belt at some point in time.
Nah.
Is that a possibility?
Why do you envision anything? Stop envisioning.
Yeah, I've always been a fan of Mitch. I've liked Mitch from. I watched him back when he first got broke in and everything, and I've kind of been following his stuff. So I'm just saying. Is that not a possibility?
I mean, he's solid. He's no Canary Kid. He's solid.
Excuse me?
Yeah. He's no Canary Kid. He ain't me. Whole different gravy over here. He's just throwing the gravy powder in and mixing it. I'm using beef stock. It's completely everything.
Yeah.
Well, guys, it's been a great show. We're kind of at the end of it now, and so we're going to be signing off here. I hope you enjoyed this. It was a great conversation. I'm serious, though. We need to do another one where we can get Mitch and yourself and some of these other guys and do a whole kind of round table.
Yeah, I'm more than happy for that.
Wouldn't that be fun? I think we should do that down the line if we can make it work out. I mean, these guys are all here for the chat, so I don't see why they couldn't make it on the show.
Yeah, exactly. And then we can see if they talk this big of a game in person. They're all happy doing it behind the keyboard.
Yeah, I mean that'd be fun. So we can just you guys, Mitch and Jack know how to get a hold of me. So if you guys work that thing out, just get me some dates. We go every other Friday, so it's very easy to keep track of what we do.
Yeah, no worries. I'll see what I can do.
We got some shows coming up here that we have to do in preparation for that title match, like that one coming up, and then we're going to have a special show we're going to do when I'm in Ireland over there with Ben and Ricky in person, with me in person, all together. That'll be a fun show. So if Canary keeps us cool and doesn't lose it, who knows? He's so bent out of shape. He's so desperate to want to get this NWF belt because he knows I had it and he wants to get it to try to rub it in my face. And I don't know. It might just get the best of him, though. You and your attitude.
It's funny how vain you are, Crusher. Even at your big old age of 75, you still think that I want
75.
the NWF title just to rub it in your face. Although that's a good 40% of it. The other 60%, no, the other 50%, right? We'll say 50, is to just prove that I'm the greatest NIPW has the offer. I'm the greatest that wrestlers at young ages have the offer. And I'll tell you what, the last 10% is to prove I'm better than Ben Nelson.
Well, we'll see. But I want to thank Jack Garcia for coming in and learning what you're all about. And it'll be a great, like I said, it's going to be a great match coming up with that NWF title. And who knows what'll happen down the line. Again, remember, the NWF belt is not tied to any promotion. So that's a belt that can definitely change hands in other leagues. So, and that's just a little behind the curtain talk for everybody, because it's a tough thing. Like, so let's just, for an example, if Mitch is the champion there and he comes over to NIPW, chances are that belt's coming back with Mitch to FTW, right? But the NWF belt, anything can happen. That's what's cool about it.
Mitch was a poor example, because if he faces me, then that title will not come back with him.
Yeah, exactly, man.
He cannot hold on to the title, as Jack proved to everyone else. Mitch can't hold on to it.
And what about you? Yeah, you're sitting there talking about Mitch. Didn't you lose your title to DD Crooks? I do believe.
Thing is, Mitch was the one who got pinned in that match. I didn't get pinned. I never lost my title. Actually, I should still be champion. Me and Jack should both still be champions right now.
No.
But
you agreed to
this
this ridiculous match. See, if Crusher Crossen's champion, I'm not going into some scramble where I can have somebody else lose it on my behalf.
You're the one cowering out of matches.
Coward. No, I'm just smart. I'm not going to put the title on the line in some kind of ridiculous scramble where somebody else can blow it like it happened to you.
As you said, isn't that something? Well, not as you said. As you attempted to say, isn't that pot calling the kettle black?
Now you're trying to use my lines.
No, your line is not calling the kettle black.
Jack, it's a good thing we're on this podcast, because if I was in person, I'd be wringing this kid's neck right now.
See, and that's that American incompetence and anger and temper coming out of you.
All I'm saying is, if you're refereeing this title match, you seem quite aggressive towards him. I don't think you can be impartial. I think. And Canary's at a disadvantage here.
And so
it froze up again.
Yep.
Now, I'm from America. Of course I can be impartial.
Oh, America's not really got a good history of being impartial now, does it?
We save every other country in this world, and I will save that championship match by making the right call.
Once again, not really good examples.
Remember this, France. If it wasn't for the United States, you'd be speaking German right now.
Please remind me who's French in this.
Well, I believe you like French. You know a little French yourself.
I know a little French, but as far as I'm aware, I'm not French.
Yeah, so this is just because you're French talk.
Oh, right. American incompetence kicks in again. So because someone can speak a language does not mean they're from that country. You're not English, Crusher.
Yes, I am. I told you. I've got Irish in my blood.
Oh, yeah. You said Irish and then said, what was the other one? Like Austrian, and then tried to call yourself a Viking.
Yeah, Vikings. Like Dutch and Irish. And
Dutch is not Vikings.
That's according to Darren, it was. That's another side debate on geography, because
it's American incompetence.
Canary thinks it's not. Darren thinks it is. You guys, you and Darren can argue that one out. But yeah, it's been a great show. Oh no, look at this! I got to bring this one in. Big Chris says Canary is getting screwed over with Crusher as ref. Big Chris, how dare we say that? What are we talking about here?
Knows.
Say what I mean.
What are we talking about here?
Even people like Chris,
I'm not going to screw anybody over. No.
Even Chris himself, who seems to be quite, deluded in the idea that I'm not the best thing since sliced bread, and even he knows you're going to be impartial.
Look, all I'm saying is you better be playing by the rules. That's all. You have nothing to worry about if you play by the rules.
Yeah,
nothing to worry about.
Sure thing, Bob.
Nothing.
I would worry about Big Chris's opinion, Canary, man. It's the same as like what you're saying with Crusher. He's getting to that age. The mind's going. Don't worry about it. Okay?
Yeah, especially after getting destroyed by Jack Garcia.
Exactly.
Has an effect on some people.
All right, guys. And on that note, we are going to be signing off here. And so, like I said, I'll be back in a week with Dixie Dave for that show 28, which I hate watching that early stuff because we don't know what the hell we're doing. But I I know the fans like watching it, so yeah, we'll watch it. And then in 2 weeks, Canary Kid and myself, along with Ace, Kid, Kelsey, myself, and it's going to be great for me to see Ace and Kelsey again. And for them to be able to give their 2 cents on you guys, the new era of wrestling for that belt should be a great conversation. So I'm looking forward to that. And then maybe down the line, we'll work out another show, Jack, like we talked about, kind of a round table, if you will. We'll get some of the other guys, whoever's up for it, jump in with us.
Yeah, I'm all down for that.
Have a good conversation. It would be another. We'll revisit Full Tilt. Maybe we get Mitch in for that one again. Mitch.
We lost him. This is brutal.
I've been wanting to get Mitch on again anyway. So.
Yeah, you're back.
God, am I freezing up again? What the hell's going on here? It's probably a good time we're signing off then. All right, guys. So we will see you
No worries,
in
man.
the next time we're live.
See ya.